Hey everybody, welcome. It is the end of February. We are coming up on March. It's almost been a year since last March. And I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, yeah, it's time to talk about games I bought. This month, for a short month of February, that's not even over yet, I have quite a few games. The main reason being that these games in my hand here all came from the same place. We, at the store, at Core Gaming, yay, we are now retailer for Video Games New York software. Video Games New York, big old store in New York that you, like, blows me away, everything that they post, everything that, like, they just have had, like, lying around, stuff that we haven't seen in ages. They just have warehouses full of shit. But whatever, it's just the way that store has been. They've been around for a long time and everything. But now they have a publishing, like, sort of company with them, and we're carrying some of their stuff. We're carrying all of their Switch games and all of their, or most of their Dreamcast games that they've been able to put out. Really cool stuff. So I'm going to start off with the Dreamcast and the Switch, and then we'll go on to the other Switch stuff. There's a couple more after that, but this was a big hit to my wallet. I couldn't like look at these games that we were getting in the store, these 5 new Switch games, 2 of which I really wanted, and not like, yeah, like I kind of want to get all of them, like I want to add to the collection in that way. But anyway, so that also, like, it really hurt because there's more Dreamcast stuff that I would have bought, but like, I was like, I want the Switch stuff, I'm getting the Switch stuff. And I just kind of, like, okay, now we gotta slow it down when it comes to the Dreamcast stuff, which is also, you know, none of this stuff is, like, really cheap. It's like, even from the wholesale, like, I pay, like, $30 for each of these games. Like, it's not cheap, but it's really just awesome to be able to carry them. So, you know, paying, like, $30 for each of these games myself. On Dreamcast, we really gotta, like, for a Dreamcast where the homebrew community is so huge, and even just within that homebrew community, the amount of shooters that come out in that, like, I had to not let myself get anything that wasn't shooters, because I was like, the shooters are what looks the most awesome. So I've got 2 right here, the ones that I thought looked the best. This is Sturmwind right here. Like, I haven't played these ones. I haven't played any of these games yet, actually. I meant to play either Wallachia or Shmup Collection, but I haven't gotten around to any of these ones that I bought, but I'm so glad that I have them. Sturmwind just looked, like, really cool. I looked on the back and I saw the screenshots. You can see them. All those boss designs look great. Like, that's the one I'm going to go for. Just to read off the blurb on the back, because, like, these aren't games you can look up as easily when you consider that, like, you know, they're homebrew games coming out for the Dreamcast, and they get physical releases, or you can play them on, like, emulators. 16 levels, huge boss enemies, FMV intro sequence, 3 selectable weapons, 3 selectable difficulty levels, hundreds of different enemies. It's a pretty basic description of what you'd get out of a good shoot 'em. I don't want to do that. Keep having a mess with the computer here. No, I do want to play these really bad, because they look great. That's why I'm buying these ones, because they look awesome. See if there's any more, like, cool. Oh, that's cool. That looks nice. And I do want to show more of these, like, I want to add, you get with these, like, physical prints of them and everything, because these are not things that you can go and find as easily. Like, I just like that drawing, that artwork on the back of the manual here looks so cool. So yeah, that's Sturmwind. Cool stuff. And this is a very silly name. This is Battlecross. Battlecross has the word crust in the title because it involves the Earth's crust, and there's a story with that. This didn't really have a lot of the artwork and stuff on the back for me to judge by, but it is a charge shot. Battlecross is an 80s and 90s arcade-style shooter. You make full use of charge shot that's available by obtaining the item, and let's complete all of the 6th stage. I don't know if they're doing that on purpose. That's sort of bad translation English there. To make it seem like a game that would have come out on the Dreamcast, but anyway. So yeah, this is that one's not Pixel Heart. This is another one that has the Pixel Heart on it, and you'll see Pixel Heart is something that comes up with a lot of the VGNY soft. I don't know. I don't actually know how their production, like their printing stuff works. But yeah, Josh Production is, I think that's the guy that runs the store and everything. Yeah, I don't have as many, like... Oh, this Play Asia. Yeah, I remember Play Asia was involved in this to some degree on some of these. So yeah, that's the 2 Dreamcast games I got. Now let's start on the Switch games. There's 5 of them here. This is the one that you may have seen going around lately because people are making like YouTube videos and stuff, because this is a really, really blatant Castlevania clone, and I don't have a problem with that. Everyone wants Castlevania, everyone wants more Bloodstained, everyone wants more stuff like this, and this is, I don't know the exact nature of it, but this is actually vaguely related to Bloodstained, because it says on the back here, an exclusive bonus from Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and I have no idea what that actually entails. But yeah, you get from Pixel Heart certificate of authenticity and everything. All of these are either numbered to 1,500 or 5,000, and these ones here, the ones I was more excited about it anyway, and that's probably why they printed more, because they figured more people would be. And these ones are also the 2 Pixel Heart ones. Wallachia, Reign of Dracula. You can get this for $10 on the eShop, but definitely like a really, really cool physical. And people are into it. It's also supposed to be like really hard, but it's Castlevania, of course it is. And then we have Shmup Collection. I actually had already bought this on Switch as a download. It was like $8. But here I am paying $30 for it myself. Shmup Collection, another Pixel Heart, and this is a compilation of 3 shoot-'em-ups. Of course, I want more shoot-'em-ups. I am always amused by how they write shoot them up sometimes. There's 3 shoot them up classics. But Arms 7DX, Cetasius Next, and Wolfflame. I don't really know anything about any of these. I literally had bought this on Switch and not played it. But the reason I bought it on Switch was because I knew even if I didn't play it, it would kind of like satisfy me, because this was also published by them on the Wii U, but only on, they were only able to do it on PAL discs. I don't know why that is, but, so I'd seen those actually come in the store, sealed and everything, because obviously, like, you bought them, but nobody was going to be able to play them over here without a PAL Wii U. So I was like all bummed. I was like, oh, there's a shoot-'em-up collection, and I can't buy it, and I can't play it and everything. But same thing got re-released on the Switch eShop. I paid $8 for it, and then there's a physical, and I'm like, yeah, it's a shmup thing, I want it. It's like having Ultimate Shooting Collection on the Wii, a game that has 3 more crazy, weird shoot-'em-ups, and I haven't really played it, but I'm so glad that I have it on physical. So that's Shmup Collection. And we got 3 more, and like I said, those were the 2 that I was really excited about, but I looked at all 3 of these, and I was like, I can't bear to not get these. So what we have, this is the other one that had been released on the Wii U before on that PAL disc, was Finding Teddy 2. And Finding Teddy 1 is actually one that you can get on the Dreamcast from them. Finding Teddy 2, it is sort of like old school platformer. I think there's like wall jumps and stuff as the main mechanic of it. So cool stuff. Oh, this is also pixel art. Maybe it's, do I have it backwards? I have it backwards. These 3 are pixel art. But the Wii U Shmup Collection, that was pixel art. So that's why I was confused. Not anything like much going on inside of it here, but this is like all the moves and stuff. So yeah, wall jumping and stuff is a big thing in here. More than 20 hours of pure gaming and adventure. Unique use of music with Musicom. I don't know what that means. Puzzles and platforming. Cool stuff. Guns of Mercy Rangers Edition. This is a side-scrolling run-and-gun sort of thing. This is actually, I have a super low number here. This is 87 out of 1,500. So that's pretty cool. It's never going to mean anything, but it's always kind of funny when you say, like, oh, what's my number on it? It's less than 100. Pretty cool. Arcade shooter with co-op stuff. Again, like, these ones don't really have anything on the inside, but looks cool. And lastly, Super Trench Attack. Very pixely artwork stuff. This is sort of a commando-style shooter, like it's top-down, but it has more... It's top-down, but it's like isometric, so it's tilted off. Also pretty cool. So yeah, those 5 Switch games from VGN Soft. And let's wrap up Switch games with 3 more that I've got over here. First, there's like a theme. There's like things that like these had to offer that also kind of have things in the other Switch games that I bought. So we have here a more recent Nicalis game. I had stopped buying every Nicalis game because they did make it kind of hard on their developers when they're publishing games. As much as I liked the things that Nicalis offered, you know, they started making so many games, and I didn't really want to buy all of them, especially the way that they were doing stuff. But I bought this used. This is Monkey Barrels. It is a twin-stick shooter with big bosses and 98 weapons with all kinds of combos. So a very Gunstar Heroes-esque power-up system and a cool top-down twin-stick shooter with monkeys. Cool stuff. And then these 2 really cool compilations of old-school shooty stuff. We have Turrican Flashback. Now, Turrican is a series of games that I have never actually played because they're always some of the more expensive games on consoles, and they're also known for being PC games and old computer games, and I never have played any of those. So this is a great collection that I have probably, like, of games that I would have played before if they were more available to me. This is Turrican, Turrican 2, Super Turrican, which is the Super Nintendo one, and Mega Turrican, which is the Genesis one. And I think also Turrican 1 came out on Genesis, but this is a version that has more of an 8-bit feel. So these are probably, Turrican 1 and 2 are probably like Amiga versions, and Super and Mega are the console versions. That's my guess, I'm not 100%. Really cool, like, got that, like, I played Valferris recently, really fucking hard game, but really awesome game. So this is sort of the same type of game. And it also was made by Factor 5, and because it's made by Factor 5 and they have known for a long time what they're doing with music and sound compression and stuff, these games have amazing music, and I've looked up a little bit of it, and that's what one thing that they're really known for, so I'm really excited, because I've actually been listening to a lot more game music recently, particularly going to sleep, so these are not the type of thing I've been listening to, but I've been listening to it a lot, and I'm very excited to check out that soundtrack. And then lastly, for Switch, this is Space Invaders Forever, these are both by the same publisher, and they're both $30 compilations if you wanted to pick them up. But Space Invaders Forever, like, it's hard to not like just the simple concept of Space Invaders, like, but it's also not hard to say you can do more with it. Space Invaders Forever has 3 games on it, none of which are the original Space Invaders, which is fine. But I definitely think it could have been a 4-game compilation, because the main attraction of it, what I think, is that there's a port of Space Invaders Extreme, which is awesome, and I love Space Invaders Extreme, and I've played it already on here. And but there are 2 Space Invaders Extreme games, and they only ported one of them, so that would bum me out a little bit. But Space Invaders Extreme came from the DS and PSP, rhythm-based, like, spin-on stuff. It's really cool. There's another, I think they have this at arcades now, Space Invaders Gigantamax. Oh no, I'm saying Gigantamax because I got Pokemon on the brain. Space Invaders Gigamax 4 SE, which is for up to 4 people co-op version. It's not that great when you're playing by yourself, but it does have cool colors and a little light spin on it. And then the one that I haven't played on here is Arkanoid versus Space Invaders, which has to be played tape mode, so the vertical handheld mode on your Switch, and that's why I haven't played it yet. But it's got an Arkanoid and Space Invaders mashup, which is very cool. I definitely recommend this, and I do think it's worth $30, but I would have paid $40 for it if they included both Space Invaders Extremes. And I've seen people like complaining on Amazon, which is where I bought it, that it doesn't have any version of the original. And I'm like, you don't need it. Go open up your web browser and play it. But at the same time, how much work would it have been to put the original on there, right? It's whatever. I'm not really concerned about it having the original. I think it's a great compilation. But the one that I think it could have used both Extreme games. That's all I'm saying. 2 Xbox One games here. One of these, this Fade to Silence. I saw this come in the store a while ago, and the only reason that I didn't pick it up right away is because it is a like survival focused game, and I've never like gotten really good at the sort of survival, like keep gathering resources while you play another part of the game thing. But I do think it looks really nice. It's got a good like dark, like really creepy snow art style. Like cool stuff. I picked this for $8 at Best Buy because this was on clearance. There's another game I got for the same price, for the same reason. Fade to Silence. One of the few games THQ Nordic is still doing that's not a port. So that's cool. And then Black Mirror, not to be confused with the TV show that I have never watched, but I should probably. This is, again, THQ Nordic. It is a new entry in an old, early to mid-2000s PC adventure game. And I actually think I mainly took a greater interest in this. I haven't played the Raven Remastered, even though I've owned it for like 3 years. But the game that I played, Call of Cthulhu on PS4, which was awesome. And this looked like it had the same vibe because it's in the same time period and it's got an adventure feel to it. This is probably why I went like, oh, I should get that game Black Mirror. Like, I should try that. I haven't yet, but I wanted to pick it up after playing a game that looked similar to it for that same reason. One 3DS game, Super Monkey Ball 3D. I had put off getting this for a long time because after Super Monkey Ball 2, the whole series just kind of took a tumble. I will try Banana Blitz HD at some point, but I won't pay very much for it at this point. I don't want to play it on the Wii. I want to play it on the Switch, and even then, I don't have high hopes for it. So this is a 3DS one. It had a lot of potential, but people usually say it's not that great, and I'm inclined to believe them because only the really great ones are only just 1 and 2. EOE, Eve of Extinction, a game that I have seen on the shelves at work for years and years and years, and has always been cheap. I never really bothered to pick it up, but it is made by Yuke's, who do the wrestling games. So it's always interesting to look at what Yuke's did besides the wrestling games, since they basically have been doing wrestling games for 25 years now. And they have every once in a while they do something slightly different. They have a really serious racing game that I have no interest in, but it's always interesting to me that it's like D1 or something, Driver or something. But it has the Yuke's logo on it. I'm like, that's weird. They made a driving game. So this is more like a beat 'em up. It weirdly enough, it looks like it reminds me of Death by Degrees, the Tekken game, which is really bad. But I don't think it's actually like that, other than it being a beat 'em up. So I have it because it's Yuke's, and it's still cheap. Oh, and one PSP game, more shooters, Gradius Collection. So this is a printed cover for Gradius Collection. I have wanted to buy Gradius Collection for years and years and years now, and I got to sort of like satisfy myself for a while because I picked up just randomly at a thrift store. I got a sealed copy of Salamander Portable, which we didn't get over here. They released this side by side in Japan, a Gradius Collection and a Salamander / Life Force Collection, and so. You know, very similar, very tangentially related games from Konami, shoot 'em ups. And I didn't buy this for a long time. And as game prices just in general have been going up, I'm like, oh man, how much do you think this game costs now? And it's like, it went up to about $50 right now for a complete copy. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I probably won't get that for a long time. But I also saw that it was going for like $20 disc only. And usually I'm really staying away from disc only stuff at this point, but I have PSP games and DS games that I have printed covers for, so on those it's not as egregious as having it as on consoles now. So for $20, it's a huge disparity, and I was like, I can find a cover, I can print a cover. I'm getting Gradius Collection. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and Gradius Gaiden. So the only thing that's missing from here really is Gradius 5, and if you want to get really specific about it, it's also missing like Gradius Galaxies for the Game Boy Advance, which I owned at one point, and I said, no, I'm still trying to save money and sell stuff. So I sold it, and that's like one game that I should have kept that I bought to sell because I like never see it. But I've got the big old Gradius Collection here on the PSP, and that's awesome. And lastly, a couple of PS4 games here. Metal Gear Solid 5. Having played only the first one, but really enjoying the first one, I make sure to get the other Metal Gear Solid games. Like I have the big Legacy Collection, and I have this now, and I'm pretty much covered. And I gotta try another Metal Gear game. I heard this was really good, but I'm obviously a long ways off from getting it. It was like $5 though. It's like super cheap. The other game I picked up for $8 from Best Buy, Strange Brigade. This is a Rebellion, Rebellion, the developer / publisher. shoot 'em up, a 4-person co-op shoot 'em up set in 1930s Egypt, where you fight mummies and stuff like that, and it looks real cool. It reminds me very heavily of the like jungle / like all those types of levels in Time Splitters. And if you had like 4 people playing on those levels, it looks like that. Obviously, very much like modern and everything, but that's the idea. That's the vibe that I got, and I probably put a lot into it that way. I showed that I bought Hitman 2 last month. I did get Hitman 1 Definitive Edition. I played it a little bit, and I do enjoy it, but I have not stuck with it. But I'm glad to now own both of these new Hitman games that are really cool. Blood and Truth, a VR game, a PSVR game that I saw coming out, and it was a Sony first-party one, and they were making a big deal about it for not really pushing VR that much at that point. I think this came out in 2019. I think this came out like right when I bought my VR in 2019, like over the summer. And I was like, oh, that game looks great. That looks like a fully realized version of the London Heist from the VR Worlds collection. But people were kind of like, yeah, it's okay. It's not great. It's not what it could have been if you based it on like how good was the London Heist thing. So I held off on it for a while, but I got it for like $13, and it came sealed. So yeah, something that if it got better reviews, I would have owned already, but it was just like, yeah, it's fine. And last week for PS4, Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is not getting a Switch physical, so I don't have to like wait and or choose to pay $70 for it like I did with the first one. Yeah, wait a really long time and find it for $30 and jump on it. Or did I pay $30? No, I paid like $50 for it. And it was because I refused to pay $30 for it on the eShop. But anyway, yeah, Doom Eternal, I probably would have waited to pay $30 for the download on it for 2 years. Or I could just buy it for $15 a year out on PS4. So I'm looking forward to jumping into this because Doom on the Switch, Doom 2016 was amazing. And yeah, so I've got stuff to do. Really, really cool stuff with the VGNY soft stuff. I'm excited for more and more and more stuff of that. Cool. Yeah, that's all I got today. I'll be playing Knockout Kings 2000. Just one more stream to wrap it up. It's a really cool game, but it's not my cup of tea because it's boxing. And more stuff. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Stay cool. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Wash your damn hands. Wear your mask. Get your vaccination. Get it when it's your turn. Goodbye. I'm done talking.